Oh my gosh, he is not happy.
He can see himself.
What's wrong with these people, buddy? What's wrong? Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us in this live version of. It's going to handle our coworker. It's our new coworker who has been our coworker for a while. What's up, Sam? Hi, Simi. Good to see you. If you're hanging out on Facebook or YouTube, you can drop in the comments and say hello. Let us know what you're up to, how you're doing. What's up, Liam? How are you? How's everybody doing? It's Friday. It's 3. If you need permission to end your workday early, this is your boss giving it to you. So I think I feel like you've done enough this week. I think you've really done your job, and it's okay if you take a breather if you want. We could probably Photoshop you a doctor's note if you need one, for sure. Hi, Taylor. What's up, Jessica? You are a hero. You are all heroes. Allie and I wanted to hop on here, and once I think Desh has been
he has a toy. He has a treat.
He's got a treat. We have one of those toys where we load treats into it, and that usually keeps him for like 15 minutes. No, you can hear his feet coming back. He's bringing it up. We'll see how he does. Just want to say hi to everybody. It's good to see faces and names and people saying hey. You can drop in the comments. Let us know what you're up to. We wanted to share some announcements and answer any questions. And Daria says it's Friday. I didn't even know what day it is.
I have no idea.
Oh my gosh, you've been on sabbatical. That is smart.
Yeah, Taylor. Gotta still wear my shirt.
Yeah. Empathy is important shirts. Appreciate those who have been dropping onto our online store and buying those. We probably won't ship any of those out until the world is on lockdown. But you can still buy them for sure. I'll let you. Anyways, we wanted to just share a little bit of questions, thoughts, things that are kind of sitting at the top of our mind. Over the past, I think 7 days ago was when Friday we started to be more like businesses started to be shut down more.
Mm-hmm. We were still meeting with people last Friday.
Yeah, we were meeting with people
if they wanted.
But we were like we were already on the like don't touch each other and like bleach your door handles and whatnot. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I remember I was sitting in a coffee shop on Saturday when they were like they're gonna shut down all the businesses. Because it was Friday night that all the people went out and sort of raged for St. Patrick's Day. Mm-hmm. Right. Anyways, so all that to say is it's been a wild week for everybody in a bunch of different ways. And so we just want to share a little bit about what we are doing, answer any questions, and just talk to you all. So, Allie, is there anything that's like in your head?
We're going live inside of we have an online membership called it's called Gem Club, and it's just for like small businesses or freelancers or anybody that wants to partake in some of our courses or just be able to like ask questions and things like that. So we scheduled this one to talk about evolving and how, small businesses right now have to be evolving, and in uncertain times that can be like really confusing or very overwhelming. So we just want to be able to create the dialogue where people can ask questions and we can share a little bit about what we've been doing this past work week, whatever work week it means now. So
So this past work week, we've spent a lot of time talking with small businesses who are changing like the entirety of their plans. We've had our whole team, like a lot of everybody's plans and jobs shifted dramatically as far as what anyone was hiring or asking us to do. And that sort of just changed over even the course of the week. We had some people who like reached out early on over the course of last weekend and they were pausing projects, which makes a lot of sense. And then we had other people who like slowly did it later over time. Mm-hmm. And then as the government sort of mandated different things, they started having to shut down and it sort of was forced.
Yeah.
And so it was just such a big shift that's happened over the course of the week. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The other thing is so as we've just tried to keep in communication and keep talking to people, especially those like small businesses and the people we work with and our team, and just figure out like what they need or what is happening, and is there a reason to build websites and do logos at the moment.
Yeah.
And what we found so far in 1 week of this new world is that there is a lot of things that people have still asked us to do. And some of those were people who maybe had speaking or event gigs, or were fitness professionals who were like, I need to get my entire business up online. Those people kind of all jumped in. What else have you noticed? What else have people like been like wanting to do?
Yeah. So I think what I've noticed is people are kind of like in two different camps right now. One of them being they have reserves stored. They have like cash on hand. So they're using the downtime to be able to make updates and like make their business a little bit more efficient. Make sure that if they had to limit their team's availability, or I guess jobs within their business, they can focus on some of those things, get automation set up, or, shift their business to operate a little bit more in a more streamlined way. So we've been helping a lot of people with like their own memberships. We've been helping them, switch over their websites for the ability to take on virtual like telemedicine appointments, or just like virtual hangouts, and set up their e-commerce. So get their shops up on Shopify.
Yeah. I think I even saw a lot of people even shifting from paid things. So maybe they used a tool like Lead Pages or something else in the past that was a small monthly fee, but they're now wanting to cut back those expenses. And so they're asking like, what are some free tools that we can use to help build maybe that same thing? And maybe we have to be scrappy a little bit more.
Yeah. And
so there's still a lot of, there's a lot of work to be done in the world to help people evolve, which was, we had kind of this funny thing that was happening where it was a couple of months ago, Allie and I had decided that our podcast, the Wonder Jams podcast, was going to be about evolutions, because in being around for 7 years, we've watched people start something and grow it, and then maybe want to do something different with it. And you just watch these things happen. And it's kind of interesting to watch people change course. The virus has made everybody sort of forced to change course pretty dramatically.
Yeah. And so the two different camps are sort of like, my business is all right, or, it's going to be all right. So I can work on some of the things that I've been thinking about. And then the other thing is a little bit of that, like a little panic, like figuring out how revenue can keep coming through the, door as all of this happens. And so, we're starting to think through that. We've also spent a lot of time creating and crafting resources. So if anyone who's watching wants access to that, we'll be getting that up on our website, but we can also share it directly. So, different pieces of software, or, basically like breaking down some of the options when it comes to e-commerce and our recommendations. We've been answering a lot of those same questions over and over. So we started creating just like basically a viewable Google Doc that we think is could be really helpful for people. And then for us, just like, obviously photography isn't something that people are going to be buying in
the same
large
way.
Large amounts. I actually had a photo shoot yesterday that I just did by myself for an e-commerce brand that we had on the calendar. And so, as different mandates, come about, I think that will, all of those things will shift in how, factories or distribution centers and all of that are affected. But, it's been an interesting week, to say the least.
My gosh. Yeah. It's been if it was just, I'm thankful that we get to talk to so many other small business owners, because if we were in isolation that way, you would feel like you were the worst business owner possible. And I think everyone seems to be dealing with that a little bit, where we all feel like, I've told a million people that this isn't their fault, but you're doing things that are, like we're all having to go through motions, whether it's laying people off or canceling projects or stopping paying things or whatever that is. We're doing all of those. We're going through all the motions that people go through when your business is failing. Yeah. And this seems a bit different than all of that, but it's still like not. And so I think the biggest thing that we've seen our team shifted dramatically are the Wonder GM team as of this morning is 4 people, and we've got some contractors who are hanging around, but it's a very different feeling, and it's that was a painful, annoying thing to go through. If you need like a connection with a really talented, smart contractor, we can make one. But so that's been, hey Toby.
Hi Toby.
And so that's been odd. So we've gone through that. We shut down our whole studio. So Allie and I are the only people who go in and out of our studio at all, just to mitigate all of the spread of everything. And and just sitting and talking with, hey Sam, thanks. Sitting and talking with clients. I sat with the team as they sort of closed down temporarily for a little bit.
You didn't physically sit
I didn't sit with them. I sat with them. I've only physically sat with like you for a while. But the sitting with the team and watching them walk through, what's the sort of like smart thing to do. I was really inspired by the team at Kingmakers. They kind of had a very a cool approach, which was
they're a board game parlor.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of also they're doing like consultations to teach your kids how to play their games at home to keep them distracted if you need to. Hey, Simi. And so I sat with them and they kind of walked through these like 3 ways that they thought of how do we tackle all these questions and make decisions. And they had said, first, we should do what's best for public health, because at this sort of stage of the game, that's just a really, really important thing to be mindful of for a lot of different people.
For free. Yes, for free.
Second, there is a what's the best for the people that are there. So the best for the team and the people who are inside of the business. As we sat and kind of laid off our team, it was about letting people get into unemployment if they want to. It doesn't mean they're not ever allowed to talk to us again. Everyone still is inside of our Slack channel. So it wasn't like we cut everybody off. But it was to allow people to hop into unemployment if they need to, or if that's the option that they wanted to take. And and then third is what's best for the business and what's best to keep things going. And so we've just Allie and I have spent a lot of time this week thinking through, it feels a lot like we went back in time 7 years ago, where we worked together out of our apartment, and we were like, I don't know what to do, so we're just going to go do a bunch of stuff. And Allie has been working through how can we put together these like small, helpful packages for people to just try and be as helpful as we can, but also keep our business doing okay, and keep Matt and Dana, who is still part of our team, keep them paid, and keep ourselves paid. And then third is just how do you be really good to people? And so I think if you can think through as you make decisions during this time and kind of those 3 ways of what's the most important for the public health and the public good, what's most important for your people, and what's the best you can do for them, and then what's the best you can do for your business and yourself. Take care of yourself. And those things are all just wildly important at the moment. Some of the things that we are going to be doing going forward is one, we had sort of the gem club hanging out in incubation for a while, and we launched that more full force 2 weeks ago, I would say. Yeah, I think 2 weeks ago is the correct answer. I don't know. And that's been a really cool community for people to share different things so different software companies are starting to change up what their free plans look like for people. And so there's a lot of that information that's swirling around in there. Julie says hi. Dash, got it. Report back. So we're keeping a lot of information going there, just trying to help people navigate whether it's like SBA disaster loans or navigate how do you bring your business online, or how do you change up your messaging or positioning or any of those
it's been really
sort of
cool
things.
just to see like different members share when they're aware of different organizations or like especially software. Once they're available to offer like maybe free 60-day trial, or maybe they're waiving fees. That's been really cool and really helpful for people. If you are a designer, if you're like, wanting to get into design, I know that Adobe is waiving like 2 months of their Creative Cloud, which is awesome. I don't know if you have to be a current member. And so our Gem Club, there's a lot of people out there that are sharing some of those updates.
Yeah, that's been really cool. We have 3 different lawyers who are in the Gem Club. And so it's been nice to have, especially Sam hangs out in there and share some resources, which is really cool because in this time, navigating all of that wildness is a big deal. So the Gem Club has been really cool, and it feels more important now than it was 2 weeks ago. We changed all of our.
Yes, Sam is one of the lawyers.
Yeah. And Sam has a whole bunch of other resources about helping folks. So she's got a bunch of her own stuff available. I was going to say it's an important resource, and it feels more important. We changed the price of it, so it was originally $24.99 a month. We walked that back to we gave everybody has a week free trial to see if they want to do it, and we're just doing it for $7.99 a month, which we just felt like I just wanted to make something easy for people to jump into if they wanted to, and so that used to be very different, or they can pay yearly, but you can have a free trial to hop in there if you want to.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to share that's a little bit like outside of the Wonder Jam is Adam and I graduated into a recession like 11 or 12 years ago. And so, there's like a period of time during when the economy starts to shift that you don't lower your standards, but you're willing to do whatever you can to make money. So I've been experimenting on Upwork.com, just getting my profile up for like direct freelance work. If the Wonder Jam can manage to not have to pay us as much, then that's helpful. But I will be sharing tips as I get started on there. I'm sure it's going to be a completely different ecosystem now that so many people are out of work. But I've been experimenting with just what works well and like what it takes to get proposals out and stuff like that. So if you are someone who has any kind of skill, I would suggest getting an account set up at Upwork. And if anyone needs like you can sometimes get testimonials from people that directly. If you've ever worked with us in any kind of capacity, we'd always be happy to do that. But yeah, I think you start to, rethink food waste and how busy we all were before all of this happened, and we get a lot of messages here on our Instagram account where people are really overwhelmed and scared, and sometimes it's just helpful to like be able to say that to someone. Someone's having trouble. Yeah, we heard that there was something weird. Try going to our blog. There's a blog post about the Gem Club and clicking it from there. And then Adam and I will check out the link that's on our site.
Yeah.
There's what is that hot jar thing? There's like something that adds all
these things.
Yeah. We've had some issues with that.
I was supposed to fix that yesterday, but
it's okay. We
were doing other things.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. If you go to the gem.club, we got like a funky URL for it. So
the gem.club.
Yeah. That's the URL. It's confusing when every time I type it, it looks a little odd.
Yeah.
So you can find it there. The other thing, I think that was the thing of graduating. We graduated to a recession. I worked at a job for a year, and I found out like immediately that I was getting moved to part-time, my hours were cut in half, and it was eventually probably going to be nothing. You found out the morning of our wedding that the job you were getting hired into wasn't hiring anybody.
Yeah.
And so that's why we have a dog, because you were bored for a week.
Yeah. If you have the means, foster or get a dog.
Yeah. No, but the I would just tell people, like, there's when this all happened, Allie and I sat down and we talked through what do we wish we would have done back then, like what were the things that we could have done then looking back now. And it was not like build the biggest business in the world, and it wasn't like charge all you can and the most prices, or raise your prices or whatever, or even develop that. But there's just so much opportunity when the world is a bit in chaos and when people are frantic, to show up and be helpful and connect with people in some way. And I'm watching a lot of businesses and brands just pause everything, which I really think is a big mistake. They're going to regret that. And people like us and a lot of other people that I see who are instead going to go the opposite direction and connect with people further and more, whether knowing we're probably not getting paid whatever our hourly rate was a month ago, but being able to show up for people and be helpful and make a connection is going to pay off for a really long time. Allie and I we started blogging in 2006, but blogging was like whatever this is at that time, where people share, communicate, interact, share ideas. It cost almost nothing to start a blog. Like, people used to make fun of bloggers. You're like, oh, everyone's just a blogger now. It was like in their job title. Hey, Amy. And I think there's just a big opportunity for people to start to make a difference and connect with people. And watching the businesses and brands that do that is such a powerful. I'm like so inspired by people who are taking action in the middle of all of this. I sat with it. I didn't sit with. I was on a Google Hangout with the team, and the owner and the founder and the boss was walking through. Hey, Olivia. She better have her sound on for this one. We were laying people off, and then people sort of came back around. It was like, no, we want to keep working on this. It's okay if we don't get paid. But it's like people start to believe in the thing that you're doing. And if you're doing something important, you probably need to let people collect unemployment or do what you need to do you need to take the measures that you need to take in the moment to take care of yourself. But it doesn't mean that every like relationship and connection has to get shut down. It's like we're not in relationship with people just because we have a business, or just because they're sitting inside of our payroll system, or just because they're sitting inside of our client list. Because you can still talk to and help and answer questions and educate people and do such different stuff. And I've found so many people finding so much joy in this particular moment in history of watching live videos like this. I've sat and watched a lot of artists or musicians just do stuff, people who I would have never scheduled time or paid attention to what they're doing. And then just, you build a strong connection with your audience and your people. Caitlin. So, hey, Caitlin.
Yeah.
And so I just encourage all of you to, I think evolution is a normal and natural and organic thing for everything that is part of like living. And it usually comes out of hardship, and it comes out of frustration and something else being, hey, Peter, just being frustrated. But I think there's just this real opportunity for us to make stronger and better and more meaningful connections with each other. Financially, things might be frustrating, but hopefully the quality of our relationships and friendships and all of that stuff is a bit beyond just the financial spreadsheet.
Yeah,
reinvention for sure. I mean, yeah. And it feels like, I think this is what happened in 2008 during the last recession. This is what happened in the Great Depression. It's what happens in all of these moments in history, is that the world kind of doesn't let you keep going on as you were going on before. And it's time to do something a little bit differently. And I think one of the things that Allie and I both wanted to talk about was some of the things that have been in the midst of when things can be really frustrating, some of the things that have been comforting to us or have helped us stay centered or sane or grounded or happy or joyful, just sharing what some of those things have been, just because we find so many people sort of looking for those sort of things. Hey, Vinny, I'm assuming Heartfelt Yoga Studio is Vinny, unless he we'll see. We'll see. So where have you found in the midst of like chaos, where have you found something that's like grounded you or made you find joy or relief or happiness?
I think like the past week, cooking has been a huge way of kind of disconnecting. I remember hearing someone once say that cooking was like, you have to kind of disconnect, like you're using all your senses and, you're like chopping vegetables, you're, like you can smell everything. You have to like follow maybe a recipe or like focus in on what you're making. So I think cooking's been really big. Watching like old TV shows or like movies and things like that. Those have been really, really awesome for me. And partner does cooking.
Yeah, Vinny, that's
that's what Adam does.
Yeah.
Adam does cooking.
Yeah, I saw somebody. You had this interaction with Patrick, the photographer Patrick, on Twitter about how he was like stress cooking.
Yeah.
And you had said you were too, and I was talking about how like our food has been we've been eating like amazing. In our household.
Yeah. We've also like just tried to really keep in mind like what small businesses or workers like in even the food industry that we want to support. Because I think that we're doing Adam has been making really good coffee too.
Yeah, same. That's the truth.
But yeah, just like being really intentional about who you support. Obviously there's so many different ways for you to support small businesses, but it's hard when you're also trying not to spend all your money, when you are a small business yourself. So I recently just became a part of like a co-op, like a food share that's local, because like we want to support those farmers and specific restaurants, or trying to find like direct Venmo. The past 2 days I've really encouraged people to Venmo me so that I can share it with our team that has lost work. You can still do that. My Venmo is Allie Pal. But we're just trying to pass along that cash to the people who essentially had all projects cancel. So yeah, I think like just being really thoughtful and, we joined like an app that my sister-in-law Cheyenne set up where you like can play games. It's essentially like Cards Against Humanity with like a bunch of people. Hi Nate. But little things like that where you're like more willing to jump on like a FaceTime call or like pick up the phone. I think that all of that will impact how we move forward after this.
Yeah.
With those things. What about you?
Yeah, I think one of the things I found a lot of joy in is
it pops them.
To those of you watching on something that's not Instagram, the like little
Instagram hearts.
The Instagram hearts that pop up like go right into my beard.
The game is called.
Is it called Room?
I don't remember. We're looking. Hold on 1 second. The game app is called
House Party.
House Party.
Yeah. So if you get on House Party, you can play some like cheese ball games with each other. So
and it does video at the same time. So we did that yesterday and it was really fun.
It was cool. You can figure out which of your friends don't understand how to play games very well.
I won, so that obviously wasn't me.
Yeah, but some people just get confused. Anyways, I think one of the things that's found getting back into reading, like waking up in the morning and reading has been a good, it like slows my brain down a bit. Mm-hmm. We found a lot of joy in
deep breathing.
Deep breathing is important. And I found a lot of joy in keeping our house together, and just keeping things like having a sort of calm and relaxing place to live. Mm-hmm. Doing like random simple home workouts, like just simple normal stuff that I used to always feel like, when I say used to always, I mean like
a week ago,
7 days ago, 8 days ago, I used to feel like I needed to go do something or have some kind of like transaction, to make any of those experiences happen. But in reality, you're like, I can stay pretty active and I can cook really good food and we can.
Yeah. I have not been good at working out. I think this week, I don't know. Sometimes I find.
Just ruined. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
You didn't ruin it.
Keep talking.
We're just gonna go back and forth. I think that I lost my train of thought.
You don't like working out?
Oh no, I just haven't been good at doing that. And I think sometimes it's comforting when someone says that they're not good at something that maybe you haven't been good at. So if you aren't, I saw something going around that's like, you don't have to like make the most of, a quarantine situation. You don't have to be like, become the ultimate person.
You're free to, if you would like.
You can, but if you're not, like, that's okay. And I think that all of that is good.
I thought of I pulled up Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and it talks about like the sort of concept behind that is what's the most baseline levels of needs that a human being has, and the idea that or physiological things or physical things are both.
Thanks, Jess.
Thanks. That's really cool. The so many of those things are under like stress at this moment, even if you currently aren't sick. There's this like fear of becoming sick. There's a lot of those things that are sort of under not attack, but they're under strain at this moment.
So you can't just like move on.
You're not. I think.
Oh, someone on Facebook said puzzles and Legos.
That.
I have a puzzle that I need to reinstate.
Yeah, truth. I think board games, there's just different ways of like engaging yourself that are less obvious, and they require a little bit of proactivity and intention, and probably we could have been doing that all the time, right?
Yeah.
Those things have always been available to us. So
vitamins, things like that. Yes.
Yeah.
But so I think it's going to look different for everyone. And I would say like be really kind to small businesses that are still marketing, because those people, some of them are like Adam and I, where all their income comes from one business. We don't have like a spouse that has a different job, a corporate job. So, be kind and understand that when you see marketing or like an email that is trying to market their products, obviously we should all be really mindful of our tone, but be kind to those people and understand that the show must go on.
Yeah. And I think that's just a big, it's a big deal.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes, Liz, exactly.
Yeah.
I saw, I don't know if Lauren, you're still on the Instagram live, but I saw Lauren, our friend in Cincinnati, they were like talking to their neighbors across like the courtyard, which I love. I think make time to think through like what you want to do with this time, and know that there's no right or wrong thing. There is a wrong thing. Don't go out and like be with a bunch of people.
And so I think there's like there's a big, that's a big, take care of the public health. I think it's a big deal. It translates into a lot of other folks who, it affects a lot of people and not just you. So, I plan to do I used to post like eat lunch posts on my Instagram. So I'm going to do some like eat lunch live. Toby, had suggested that to me yesterday, because we all have to still eat lunch. Yeah. Hey, Kristen. Thanks.
Yeah. 3:33. I turned 33 this year, and if you don't know Scottie Pippen from the Bulls, that was his number. So I've been waiting to turn 33.
It was my football number when I was a freshman.
Life. That's not why I'm excited, but I'm just kidding. No, it's not. Well, I'm going to see if he'll come up here.
See if Dash will come up again. So if you would want to see, we have a bunch of our friends who are doing various different things. And so we're going to start being, if you head over to our Facebook page or our YouTube page, you're going to see the most recent video that we've done as of now is that we have a, there's Deshi.
Live streaming your birthday, Quentin. Yeah.
There you go. Dash, you were like, this is why people are watching, buddy.
Dash has no idea what's going on.
No, he's like so confused.
He's pushing on.
He's like, what's going on, buddy? What are these people? What are they doing? So we're going to be doing a number of these. If you go back a little bit in our videos on Facebook or YouTube, you're going to see an interview we did with Joe Ellis, who runs a nonprofit. But she had done some really cool. She'd made some cool evolutions in her nonprofit. Yeah. And then, so I would say, if there's people that you would like to see or people who are doing cool stuff, you can pop into the comments and tag them or let us know, and we'll try and get them interviewed. We're going to have our web developer, Matt. He's going to be on next week, probably Tuesday. We'll get a schedule put out a bit more.
Tomorrow we're going to talk to Rachel Turner.
Tomorrow we're going to talk to Rachel Turner. She's been doing she kind of launched a product in the middle of all this, and she had talked about how you can change the way you talk about your stuff in the middle of all these things without being gross. So selling stuff without being gross, which has been is a fan favorite topic for us. So all of that is just going to keep coming. So if there's anything that you want us to talk about, any kind of ideas that you're like, hey, I'd love to hear Allie talk about this. I really think if we can all band together, if we can all band together and we can get Allie to paint, like live stream her painting, don't we think we want that?
Yeah.
Wouldn't we like Allie to live stream her paintings? We could do some of that. So that's kind of, I think there's a bunch of things that we want to, that is a new painting back there. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, you can check this. Let me see if I got you. You see it on Instagram now. She's working back there. I think.
Oh, don't show it. I still have something I need to fix.
Yeah, she's got a flower bloom back there that she's not super excited about.
That's just so bored.
He is. He's like, what is up with this? So we've got a lot of, if there's anything that you want to see from us, we'll be happy to do it. Someone texted me and told me I should teach people how to brew coffee live, which I'm trying to recruit my smarter coffee friends to do that and not myself. But I will do that if people care. So
yeah.
If anybody has any questions, you can pop in there now. We'll hang out for a little bit. We'll hang out on Instagram maybe a little bit longer because why not?
Cool.
Vinny wants to know how to roll your pants properly. Oh, that's the other thing. You'd head over to my Instagram account, which is Adam Lehman, all one word. And you can see my new influencer campaign is I've become what's called an Ankfluencer, which is
who called it that?
Double tree. No, double knot. Yeah. Double knot, not double tree. That's a hotel. Yeah. Double knot home. And she's my number one influencer coach. She kind of coaches me through like what she wants to see me do next. Yeah. And so I've been showing off my rolled up pants over there.
Heartfelt Yoga sponsored Adam's post.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah. So I'm looking for sponsors. All of that sponsorship money is going to get Venmo'd or Cash Apped or under the table paid to our teammates. So I've got a couple of sponsors lined up. Literally people pay me money. Like I literally get money from people. Yeah. I'll be showing people.
Ankle modeling.
Yes. Someone earlier today said it was similar to an OnlyFans account, which is a whole different thing. If you don't know what that is, don't Google it. But
Google it.
Or do. But yeah, I'll be showing off my fashion sense for money and for
why not?
For the good of the world.
Yeah.
So
we'll for sure be back tomorrow around 2 p.m. with Rachel to talk about business and like feeling gross about marketing at this moment and how to make it cool. I'm like laughing about this conversations that are happening on Instagram. Yeah. So you'll get alerted because we're all on social media all the time now, and join our Gem Club, free week trial, $7.99 a month after that, thegem.club. Cool.
Check it out. I think, watch this. I can do this thing on here. I was just like playing with this show.
Oh, I think we could do it here too.
You can do a thing? Yeah. So go to the Gem Club, sign up for that. That is, signing up for that and sharing it is probably one of the cooler ways that somebody can support us in this small moment is hop into that community, come hang out with us, come be our friend on the internet. We'll be here. What else?
I thought you could pin it. Yeah.
So thank you all for tuning in. Ask me a question.
Hi, Jamie.
What's up, Jamie? Just catching the end of it. Why weren't you here when it started? I think you could have been here earlier. JK. Yeah, so you can see it, thegem.club. Check that out. And
yeah, that's like the most affordable way to support the Wonder Jam, because like even our t-shirts are like $20 ish. I guess it's not because it's like monthly, but you know, we appreciate it.
or you can just Venmo us money and we send it to our team. So you can do that.
Yeah.
That's always appreciated.
Yep.
I feel like that's pretty good.
Mhm.
I feel like we did a good job.
Yeah.